Tonight on UATV, winter weather causing several days of university closings and missed classes. We'll tell you how it affected students and what it means for the last couple weeks of the semester. All that and more as UATV News at 9 starts right now.
Live from the University of Arkansas, this is UATV News at 9.
On a cold Monday night, welcome into UATV News at 9. I'm Jacob Penner. Now, after 5 days of no school, the U of A set to reopen tomorrow at 12:30. All classes scheduled before that time will not meet. Classes and services will all end at 6 p.m. tomorrow. Transit will be running on limited routes, so make sure you check the parking website for the latest on bus routes. Since U of A classes have been canceled for 3 straight days and tomorrow there will be a delayed start, many students are starting to be concerned about preparing for finals week. UATV's Alyssa Becker tells us how those snow days affected exams and projects during this last week of classes.
Snow and ice are still piled up around campus, and with all of this wintry mix comes missed classes.
We're primarily concerned about safety of people getting to campus.
Safety may be the university's #1 priority during inclement weather, but getting students prepared for finals is also a concern. With all of the delays and cancellations, students are beginning to question what will happen if this weather continues. After talking to Provost Gaber today about the last week of classes, she told me that the university's academic policy states that the faculty should provide the opportunity to make up work, and it will be based on individual professors' preferences. The provost says if we have more winter weather this weekend, the university might be forced to reschedule final exams. Any changes to the final exam schedule will be determined by individual professors, so students should check their email regularly. Reporting for UATV, I'm Alyssa Becker.
For more info on cancellations and makeup exams, make sure you stay in touch with your professors and check the university's website for further information. The winter weather may have caused the U of A to close, but the work never stops. Students braved the roads to finish those last-minute assignments. UATV's Monica Chapman has more.
Meteorologists have warned drivers to stay off the road if possible, but many students ignored those warnings to make those final deadlines. Campus is still covered in snow, but you'll catch students walking in and out of the Union and Library. Students would rather work on their days off than miss getting the grade they want in a class.
To turn in the assignments to have the letter grade that I want by the time finals end, and so those few extra points really matter at this time of year.
I'm here in the Union where people are eagerly studying despite the road conditions outside because of upcoming tests and finals. Students have had 3 days to work on assignments. Many knew coming to campus would cut down on their procrastination.
Probably wouldn't have been as productive if I was back in my place.
The decision to take on the slick roads was based on the car. Those with vehicles with four-wheel drive weren't afraid of driving through the snow.
I have four-wheel drive, so it wasn't a big deal for me driving. If you had two-wheel drive, yeah, it'd be pretty difficult.
With Blackboard and email, teachers say there is no excuse not to turn anything in. It will take more than a snowstorm for school to be completely shut down. Though many students enjoyed having a few days off from school, others are eager to get back to the classroom so that they can get done with finals and on to Christmas break. Back to you, Jacob.
For those students that do want to study on campus, the Union is open daily. The library operates on the same hours as the university. You can check the library website for those official hours. Ice, of course, on the ground doesn't always mix well with the hills of northwest Arkansas, and the weekend snow made Fayetteville roads dangerous for students and most everyone else to drive on. UATV's Adam Ford joins us to discuss those conditions. Adam?
That's right, guys. I'm here at the top of Razorback Road at the part between Maple and Cleveland Avenue. This is a big hill, and as you can see, it's been closed off ever since the ice and snow came here. A couple days ago, a truck tried to clear the snow off, and they were unable to do so, so the road has remained closed ever since. The hills north of campus were a major obstacle for students trying to get to campus.
I drive a Ford F-150. It's a four-wheel drive, and I didn't have a whole lot of trouble getting up the hills in the ice and snow, but getting down the hills was difficult.
Obviously, not every student has four-wheel drive, and that's why here at the university with these hills, it's so much more difficult to open campus when there's a lot of snow and ice on the ground. Reporting for UATV, I'm Adam Ford.
Thanks, Adam. Crews still working on clearing those roads. Mayor Lionel Jordan says he doesn't expect some roads to be open until Wednesday at the earliest. The weekend weather not only closed down the university, but several businesses across town, too. While some students enjoyed the snow, others were missing out on much-needed cash. Snow days can make for great memories, but for those who rely on a job to make ends meet, what do you do when the business closes? UATV's Mallory Jordan braved the cold to find out.
Snow days are dreamed about by college students.
It's fun just to hang out with everybody and get to make the memories.
No class, no tests, no problem.
Snowman, sled, come back in, drink hot chocolate, get warm, probably do it all again.
When the university decides to cancel class like on campus behind me, many students take it as a time to celebrate. But when businesses like these on Dixon are closed due to bad weather and road conditions, some students are missing a paycheck.
A lot of people look at the snow and it's all fun and great, but then don't think about, the people that can't go to work.
Businesses may be closed, but work must still be done. Emily Smythe works for Hershey, and she was told to take her computer home.
I'll have to do work without getting paid anyway. Ports seem to be run on Monday.
And as a struggling college student, one day of missed wages makes an impact.
If I count today and Monday, that's a huge chunk out of my 2-week paycheck. It's an even bigger deal because we just had Thanksgiving.
Smythe knows she isn't the only one affected.
I can't make it to Bentonville, and I know that other people can't make it to even places in Fayetteville.
While snowballs are being thrown, some students are wondering how they will make ends meet and hoping the snow melts soon. Reporting for UATV, I'm Mallory Jordan.
Thanks, Mallory. That's an estimated 7 inches of snow on the ground and a statewide emergency declared by Governor Beebe. So with all this talk about weather, it seems like it's time to go to our weatherman, Tevin Wooten. Tevin, what's going on in the world of weather?
Well, Jake, we've been talking about it all show, and we're probably going to continue talking about it for a few more days. Let's go ahead and take a look at snow totals right now. We have had about 6.1 inches in Washington County alone from the snowstorm over the past 7 days, and then 7.5 in Benton County, and 8 the more north central you go. And then also ice. This was a bigger problem, just a little bit over 1/10 of an inch in northwest Arkansas, and then in some spots even almost 1/4 of an inch. So those snow totals have definitely, snow and ice totals combined have definitely slowed down transportation, and several students going to class, obviously, we've been canceled for the past few days. And then we've also got some more photos we want to share with you. Our current conditions right now, 23 degrees, feeling like 18 outside, a north wind from at about 6 miles per hour. It's going to calm things down a little bit, but not too much, as you can see here. It's going to be cold tonight, mostly cloudy conditions, partly cloudy tomorrow or today. What's today's high? 28 degrees at Drakefield at 1:42 this afternoon, and then the low of about 20 degrees with an average temperature at 24. Now, these are the Twitter photos I want to share with you. The University Off-Campus Connections Committee sent out a tweet saying, "What are roads like where you are?" Well, Caleb saw this. Guys playing hockey. It looks like around Ropel Road, around the Boys and Girls Club area, and then also more Twitter photos showing just terrible conditions all around northwest Arkansas. This one from Brennan, and then one more from Rachel. This one was from today. It looks like Rachel went out for a walk or something. I'm not sure. It was cold, but it's a gorgeous photo. Just take a look at it. Just a great photo all together. And then the daytime tracker, because we always track the weather for you here at the U of A. Tomorrow morning, a sunrise at 7:17 tomorrow morning. Sunny conditions, but it's still cold. 14 degrees is what it is. 6 degrees is what it feels like at noon. 35, feeling like 29. And then tomorrow at 5 p.m., a sunset at 5:03 in the afternoon. 26 degrees with 20 degrees as the wind chill. Jacob, I can tell you this. It's going to be cold tomorrow. The sun's going to come out. We're going to see a little bit of melting, but not much.
We come back after the break. We'll take you behind the scenes to see how police and fire crews stay safe in this winter weather, plus plans to double the size of the Fayetteville Public Library. The details next on UATV News.
Walk a mile in these Louboutins. I'm not hating, I'm just telling you. Yeah,
That's my jam.
Now get this one.
Welcome back to UATV News. As you might have expected, the number of car accidents went up this weekend because of bad road conditions, but not everyone has the option of just staying inside and off the streets. UATV's Sarah Brown took a look at how police and firefighters keep going during severe weather.
When there's a threat of severe weather, many people do what they can to prepare for what a storm may throw their way. I decided to look into the preparations public safety workers make in order to continue keeping you safe through the bad weather.
We go ahead and prepare our uniforms for winter weather. The basic thing is just like everybody else, we have to layer up because we never know whether we're going to be out of the car for 30 minutes or we're going to be out of the car for 8 hours.
And they bundle, but we have to be real careful on what type of clothing we wear. We require only what's issued that they wear, nothing with nylon or synthetic fibers.
We're assigned spikes that go on the bottom of our shoes that assist us to walk around in the icy weather and conditions and such so we don't fall and hurt ourselves.
Icy roads all over northwest Arkansas have made it dangerous to drive. But with some changes to their vehicles, police officers and firefighters have been able to continue working.
We have chains that we put on our fire trucks so that the firefighters can get around. All the trucks have what's called an automatic on-spot chains. However, for the type of conditions that we saw here last week, those weren't adequate. So we actually go with what we call icebreakers, and that's what's on the trucks right now.
We'll have the snow tires or the bad weather tires put on the rear of the vehicle. They're just a little bit more aggressive mud and snow tire, where our front tires are just all-weather tires.
In addition to uniform and vehicle preparations, police and firefighters also use extra precaution when driving around Fayetteville.
Obviously, due to the road conditions, we're not going to drive any faster than what we can possibly control our vehicles. And, you know, the rule of thumb is if you don't get there, you're no help to anyone.
We have to slow down, especially with these chains that we have on the truck. It doesn't allow us to go at speeds higher than 30 miles an hour.
Firemen and police have no choice. They must drive on the ice. But they caution the rest of us to stay off the roads unless we have no choice.
If you don't have to go out, don't go out. You know, if you do have to go out, you know, make sure it's for a good, valid reason.
We just want to encourage people to slow down during icy conditions, and if they don't feel comfortable driving in the snow, don't get out, just stay indoors.
Though the winter weather may be keeping most people from going to work, police and firefighters are prepared to continue keeping you safe regardless of severe road conditions. Reporting for UATV, I'm Sarah Brown. Back to you in the studio.
Good stuff, Sarah. Along with driving slower on icy roads, police and firefighters encourage drivers to keep enough distance between them and the person driving in front of them. In local news, trash, recycling, and yard waste collections all delayed this week due to those poor road conditions. Trash pickup was originally scheduled to pick up one day later than normal, but officials decided earlier today the road conditions just still too treacherous for those trucks. Fayetteville's Solid Waste Division will reevaluate the conditions on Tuesday morning, hoping to collect as soon as possible. Officials are asking citizens to place their trash receptacles at the curb so they'll be ready when the crews can safely make their routes. Elsewhere, the Fayetteville Public Library about to get a little bit bigger. The library's Board of Trustees has bought land that would nearly double the size of that library. UATV's Ashley Galloway takes a closer look at what the library plans to do with that added land.
In 2005, the Fayetteville Public Library was voted as America's favorite library. I talked to the executive director, David Johnson, to see how they are trying to regain the top spot.
It's more than just books and it's more than just CDs. It's a community civic place.
The Fayetteville Public Library recently bought the old city hospital land right behind the library. Executive Director David Johnson says this is due to the fact the growing population of the city.
Most of the indicators say in 20 years, 30 years, we're going to have 115,000 people. And so we want to be able to maintain a top class, world best library to those populations.
Johnson says nearly 88% of the Fayetteville population owns a library card. The addition of the new building will help with the overpopulation of the current building and provide many new opportunities for residents.
And we want to always stay out in front of the community, bringing them services and things that they haven't maybe even thought of yet. So we want to be cutting edge.
Even though the two buildings are a couple hundred feet apart, Johnson says it is in the works to connect them.
We can bridge the two buildings together. So there will actually be a skywalk piece that goes over to the larger auditorium on the South City Hospital properties.
Johnson says there is one thing for sure about residents of Fayetteville and their library.
There's something about it and its libraries that's pretty unique.
Now the library is still deciding what exactly will be in the new building. Johnson told me he is trying to get an IMAX theater, which will be the first in Northwest Arkansas, and a test kitchen. He is also trying to get smart boards and study rooms so students can do their homework and send it directly to their teachers. Jacob?
Thanks, Ashley. The library now has 90 days to do tests and make sure the land is adequate for what they plan to build. Time for a short break here on UATV News, but when we come back, our own Tevin Wooten shows how the rest of the state is digging out of Winter Storm Cleon. And in politics, American lawmakers are joining heads of state from around the world in mourning the death of South African civil rights activist Nelson Mandela. The details when UATV News returns.
My wife's drinking bothers me, but I'm finding support and understanding at Al-Anon family groups. Are you troubled by someone's drinking? Call 1-888-4-AL-ANON or visit alanonfamilygroups.org.
Relax, let us pull up a chair as the dining room proudly presents
Another brand new episode of the Not So Late Show.
You've been to another house 3 times.
It is another brand new episode of the Not So Late Show.
This is horrible!
Ready for another Not So Late Show. It is another episode of the Not So Late Show.
Snorts.
Look how we turned out.
We'd like to apologize.
Welcome back to UATV News. We're glad to have you with us, and now we want to take a look at the conditions right now. This is from the webcam.uark.edu. This is a hi mom cam known to some of you students. You can actually say hi to your mom. Not quite from this angle. This is the South Tower of Old Main here from the University of Arkansas. And then we've also got current weather across Northwest Arkansas in the United States right now. As you can see, guess what? It is radar indicated. It is snowing in Northwest Arkansas. We're going to continue to see this pattern throughout the night tonight. Also, a little bit of rain in Southeast Arkansas. And if you're wondering why this is not snow, well, let's take a look at those temperatures right now because the temperatures paint a better picture for us. All across the South, they're really in the 30s to or mid-30s to upper 40s, and even some parts of some 50s in some parts of the area. This is why they're not seeing snow. They're seeing just rain in South Arkansas. 32 degrees for Hot Springs right now. We've got a better look at the statewide temperatures. 32 for Little Rock as well. Maine is at 32. Fort Smith's at 32, but Fayetteville, we're at 23, just as well as Harrison is. So if you're wondering about the snow, we will see some more snow tonight. Not heavy accumulations, just a little bit of dusting from a whip that came through earlier for parts of Oklahoma and Missouri. Guys, or Jacob, I guess, back to you.
Thanks, Tevin. In Benton County, Highway 264 has reopened. A multi-car pileup had blocked a main entrance to the XNA airport there this weekend. Police say 3 cars got into a small crash. Then that crash had a domino effect that ended up with 7 cars and a semi-trailer all stuck in a ditch. Benton County crews are salting icy roads to prevent any further accidents. The county transportation department says they've got an additional 70 employees working around the clock to try and keep those roads safe. An update now on a story that we brought you last week. Protests in Thailand continued today, and a move by the nation's prime minister is not doing much to ease the tension. So we head over to UATV's Ashley Galloway with more.
Thanks, Jacob. Prime Minister Yingluck Shinawatra dissolved the nation's parliament today and called for new elections, but this did little to appease the thousands of protesters who remained in the streets. More than 100,000 protesters were in Bangkok today with the goal of storming the prime minister's office. The country will hold new elections February 2nd, but Shinawatra may not be in her party's choice to run. This move comes one day after Thailand's leading opposition party said roughly 150 members would resign from parliament because they could no longer work with the government. The anti-government opposition aims to rid Thailand of any influence from former Prime Minister and Shinawatra's brother Thaksin, who was ousted in military coup in 2006. Jacob.
In national news, two of the largest food distributors in the country are now looking to join forces. Cisco announced their plans today to buy rival U.S. Foods for $3.5 billion. $3 billion of that would be in stocks, $500 million in cash. And according to a statement from Cisco, as part of the deal, that company would assume or refinance about $4.7 billion of debt now belonging to U.S. Foods. Cisco's stock soared after that planned merger was announced. The funeral for Nelson Mandela will take place tomorrow. UATV's Jeff Martin has more on the preparations. Jeff?
Thanks, Jacob. Earlier today, President Obama, along with former President George W. Bush, flew to South Africa for the funeral of Nelson Mandela. They'll arrive in the next few hours and attend the funeral at Soweto Stadium tomorrow, along with 22 members of Congress, 90 foreign leaders, and almost 94,000 mourners. Here in the U.S., many are expressing their grief, with Senate Chaplain Barry Black offering this prayer earlier today on the Senate floor.
Inspired by his great life, may our lawmakers deal fairly and wisely with the great issues of our time.
Mandela, who was South Africa's first black president, passed away late last week. Back to you at the desk.
When we return, it's time for sports. Brett Rory's here to let you know why this man is still bringing in the award. And the Razorback baseball team is picking up more players that will be able to do this. UATV Sports is ahead.
Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Hey, Rachel, guess what day it is? I know you can hear me. Hey, Reed. Hey, Reed, guess what day it is? Hey, Chelsea, guess what day it is? It's Crossfire. Woo woo! Crossfire!
I know you. You want to make the most of your college experience. You want to be inspired. You want to be challenged. And you want to explore and discover your passion. You want to make a difference. And you can, at a place that puts you first, where the university's commitment to each and every student is engraved in stone. The University of Arkansas, the U of A.
Hello, sports fans. Snow and ice settled on Fayetteville over the weekend, leaving people to wait for the ice to melt. But the weather did not keep the Razorbacks from taking on Clemson at Bud Walton Arena. On Saturday, UATV Shelby Taylor got out to the road on Saturday afternoon to see if fans could make the game.
Thanks, guys. I'm here on Dixon Street, and as you can see, Dixon is already cleared and still pretty icy, and icy roads may prevent fans from going to the game today.
It's so icy out there, it's not worth risking my life. I love those Razorbacks, but I don't think I'm going to be able to make it out there today.
The winter weather beginning on December 5th accumulated just 7 inches of snow and ice in Fayetteville. Although the snow began to melt, the ice left a thick layer on the roads, causing the university to cancel classes Thursday and Friday, and preventing many from traveling even down their own street.
My road was actually covered completely in ice, and I haven't been able to go anywhere until someone picked me up, and I haven't been able to go home in like 4 days to feed my cat. It's been really hard.
Razorback fans hoped the ice would be cleared by 1 o'clock game time on Saturday, but even roads leading directly to the arena like Center Street were still covered with ice and snow. Nearly 14,000 people ventured out to cheer the Hogs on to victory, taking it slow on the roads, using four-wheel drive, and doing anything they could to make it to the game.
Even though it was snowing and ice, it was worth it because we've been coming for the last 20 years, and also the Hogs need us here to root them on. Hopefully we'll beat Clemson today. Go Hogs!
If you braved the weather and made it to the game, there was free pizza for students. Reporting for UATV, I'm Shelby Taylor.
Thank you oh so very much for that, Shelby. The Razorbacks able to pull out the victory on Saturday, beating Clemson 74-68. And while it's cold outside, the Razorback women's basketball team looked to stay hot against the Tulsa Drillers tonight. And hot is a great way to describe their performance. The Hogs demolished the Drillers 81-43. The Razorbacks shot an amazing 60% from the field, led by Mackenzie Adams, 6 of 7 night from the deep end. Rating Freshman of the Week, Jessica Jackson keeps on with the keeping on. She put up a tough 15 points and 6 boards on the night. Arkansas will next play on December 20th against Tennessee Tech. And you want to hear something crazy, Hog fans? More Razorback football players are winning awards. Center Travis Swanson and defensive ends Chris Smith and Trey Flowers are all on the coach's All-SEC second team. Swanson is just racking up the awards. He's already made the AP first team and is finalist for the Remington Awards. Now for Chris Smith, this is the second year he's made the All-SEC team, last year as well. Now see that AP second team? Why no love for Chris Smith? And Trey Flowers rounds out the group. This is his first All-SEC team award since his freshman year. Now from current All-SEC performers to possible future ones. The Arkansas Razorback 2014 baseball recruiting class currently ranks 9th in the Perfect Game rankings. The Hogs have signed 15 players so far, and 11 are ranked in Baseball America's top 500 rankings. This has been done after recruiting coordinator Dave Butler left to Wichita State. And even better news, Arkansas fans, they still have 4 more months to add on more players to this phenomenal class.
After the break, we'll take a look at the 5-day weather. Tevin Wooten's back. Don't go away. This is UATV News.
I know you. You want to make the most of your college experience. You want to be inspired. You want to be challenged. And you want to explore and discover your passion. You want to make a difference. And you can, at a place that puts you first, where the university's commitment to each and every student is engraved in stone. The University of Arkansas, the U of A.
Don't let this be you. Look both ways before crossing the street, even when using a crosswalk.
Before we get to the 5-day forecast, let's take one last moment to enjoy the snow that is here at the University of Arkansas. This is in front of the Union from the Mullins Library High Mom Cam, as some of you may know it. And then this is the 5-day forecast. It's going to look a little bit cold for the rest of the week, but we gradually start to increase. Tomorrow we are hitting the above freezing mark at 34 degrees. The low, though, is 13, 36 on Wednesday, continuing to warm up a little. The low is 8 that night, though, 37 degrees on Thursday. Friday, a 40% chance of showers, but we're well above freezing. 38 degrees is a high that day, Jacob. And then Saturday, 39 degrees with a warming weekend. So, I guess you could call it warming if you wanted to. It's not much warming, but it's a little bit that we haven't been used to in the past 4 or 5 days. So.
Okay, we've got one more story for you. It's a good one. In Houston, a group of kids got a special visit to the North Pole, a treat planned just for them by United Airlines. Let's take a look at a once-in-a-lifetime trip.
Dozens of very special kids boarded a very special flight Saturday.
Welcome to United 1761, nonstop service to the North Pole. Welcome aboard.
United Airlines invited 68 children being treated at area hospitals and their families to experience a holiday trip any kid would envy.
They just enjoy the day, and it gives them a few hours to forget about their problems, forget about their illnesses, and just have a great time.
They took off from Bush Intercontinental Airport, and after a magical 20-minute flight, they landed at the North Pole, hardly believing the sight. Snow White and Cinderella greeted them at the gate, along with all the wonder of Christmas, and they didn't even have to wait.
Early Christmas gifts, yay!
While some kids met with Santa and his elves, others admired drawings of themselves.
You got every last detail right.
From footballs signed by the Texans to baskets full of treats, these special children got gifts that couldn't be beat.
Everybody is very welcoming, and it really just brought joy to me for the Christmas season.
Well, Tevin, you got stories like this that are very charitable and they're very nice. They make you feel very warm inside. Now we've got snow on the ground, and it's starting to feel a lot like winter break, I think. The end of finals is what I want.
We got a week left, or a week and a half left, pushing more into next week. Temperatures look to stay steadily in that freezing range, maybe a little bit more snow next week, possibly. Not anything like we've seen the past 4 days, so that is definitely good news. I'm ready for Christmas break, Jacob. I am so ready.
Good stuff, Tevin. It'll be here before you know it.
Oh, yeah.
That's all we've got for a Monday night edition of UATV. Don't forget, fan us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and on Instagram. I'm Jacob Penner. He's Tevin Wooten. And for all the rest of us at UATV, have a great Monday night.